The Barden Bellas went deep into the archive for that song, John. I remember singing it with my own a cappella group.
And what group was that, Gail?
The Minstrel Cycles, John.
Well, that's an unfortunate name. Hey, Gila.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, you.
Hey, you. It's been a while.
It has. It's been a while since we networked. What episode are we on?
113.
113?
113.
This is the lucky 13th episode.
It is. It is. And actually, I will tell you that when I was a small child, that was the number of the house we lived in. 113.
Ah, docs.
I didn't say anything else.
No, but it narrows it down considerably. People can stalk whoever's living where you used to live years and years ago now.
It's true. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
You know what kind of people listen to this.
I do. They include people who used to live in that house.
Well, for all you Triskaidekaphiles out there, say that 5 times fast.
Out there.
Welcome to Modern Technology Watches.
Modern Technology Watches.
I am Rob Vincent.
I am Gila Drazen.
And we are film nerds who are married to one another, and for fun, one of the things we do is show one another films from our collection.
Correct. And I have a feeling you know where I'm headed.
You might be headed toward the DVD shelf because it's your turn to pick something.
It is my turn to pick something, and I'm saying you might have a sense of where I'm headed when I make this selection.
You're headed toward the shelf because that's where we keep the discs.
I'm just going to go because...
Yes, you go do that thing.
My bit's not landing, apparently. Will you hold that?
While Gila inspects the DVD shelf, which is behind me, so I don't see what she's grabbing, I'll just tell you that we've got some cool stuff cooking for future episodes. There are mystery guests on their way. We'll be speaking with them soon.
Okay, so are you ready?
I am ready. Pass me what you got there. Pitch Perfect.
Like I said, you might have an idea of where I was headed.
I had no idea.
Well, because we talked at great length about how you, in fact, have not seen this movie.
We did.
So now you're going to see it.
Now I remember that, now that I'm looking at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a movie that's stuck in my head for any reason after we spoke about it.
Fair.
Okay, this is a movie called Pitch Perfect, which I am aware is the title of a movie, and that's about it. On the front, there's Anna Kendrick, Anna Camp, Brittany Snow, Rebel Wilson. Undeniably cool, irresistibly charming, and unflinchingly funny, says Jake Hamilton on Fox TV. Let's see, on the back here. Arriving at her new college, Becca, Anna Kendrick, finds herself not right for any clique, but somehow is muscled into one that she never would have picked on her own. Alongside mean girls, sweet girls, and weird girls whose only thing in common is how good they sound when they sing together. When Becca, which has one C,
I know,
that's
it always
unsettling.
is really unsettling.
It's like Bika. Bantu Steve Biko. When Becca leads this a cappella singing group out of their traditional arrangements and perfect harmonies into all new mashups, they fight to climb their way to the top of college music competitions. Pitch Perfect is an outrageously hilarious, laugh-out-loud comedy that also stars Anna Camp, The Help, Brittany Snow, Hairspray, and Rebel Wilson, Bridesmaids. Okay, that's a movie. And yeah, this totally, I had no idea what this was. I hadn't heard of it except what you've said to me about it, which I don't remember because it's been so long ago. I mean, it's a whole episode ago.
It's 2 whole episodes ago.
2 whole episodes ago.
We talked about it during camp, and then network happened, so it's been a while.
And I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so... This is also why we need listener emails. I need to be reminded of things I was talking about.
So, yes, this is Pitch Perfect.
This is Pitch Perfect.
I am excited to find out your feelings about it.
Okay.
It's definitely not something you would have chosen on your own, I'll put it that way.
It doesn't seem like it, but...
It's only because it isn't.
But reading it, it shouts Gila to me, so I'm thinking this is something that you're into. I look forward to watching with you.
Fantastic. We're going to have a good time.
All right, so shall we play a little music by Torley Wong and go watch a movie?
That sounds great.
All right, Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
What year did this come out?
2012, I think. Yes, 2012.
2012. Okay, so this might be the most recent one we've done, except for ones we've seen in the theater, such as Rocketman.
That is correct.
Okay, 2012's Pitch Perfect.
2012's Pitch Perfect.
Here we go.
Let's do this.
Hey, Gila.
Hey, Rob.
Are we back?
Are we back? I think we're back, yeah.
We are back.
Are we back?
We're back here in this place.
We're back in this place.
In this place where we record and live.
Yes, we're back on the microphones in our home studio.
Center stage on the mic.
No, honey, we watched Pitch Perfect, not Center Stage.
Oh. So, we watched Pitch Perfect.
We watched Pitch Perfect. I have seen Pitch Perfect before, many times. What did you think about Pitch Perfect?
This was interesting because, as I suspected, it's not a movie that I would have ever chosen to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everything about it is a point against it when it comes to, like, me selecting a movie.
Yeah.
There's the fact that it's like a school movie, which is totally not my genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's a music competition movie, which again is not always my favorite thing. It's a Rebel Wilson movie. And also there's a whole genre of movies about like teenage or teenage-ish young women being cliquey and bitchy, and then the weird one comes in and like they're cliquey and bitchy to her, but then they like her, but then they I don't know. It's not my genre, but like I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah, that's what you said when the credits started running. You said, I didn't hate this movie. And I said, I will take that as a win.
Yeah, I don't think I even disliked it. It was cute. It was a cute movie, Pitch Perfect.
It is a cute movie. For the same reason that it's not something that would have ever crossed your path, it ticks a lot of boxes for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was an a cappella participant when I was in college. And it's true. And I will freely admit I have a huge crush on Skylar Astin.
Which one is Skylar Astin?
He was the one who played Jesse.
Which one is Jesse?
The real Jewy-looking one.
I'm gonna need some more details.
The main guy who showed her The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I don't think names really happened except for like Becca spelled with one C,
Mm-hmm.
which was really distracting. Like, I should point out that we watch these with captions on.
Yes. That is my preference. That is always my preference. We can talk about that at another time, but yeah. I strongly support watching movies with the captions on.
And so the fact that they kept calling her Becca and the word that popped up was Bika, I don't want to criticize unfairly like people's names that they can't control or that they haven't taken control of yet, but Becca with one C was just a mental.
It was a bit of a mindfuck.
Yeah, it was a monkey wrench in the works of my parsing the words.
Fair. I very much enjoyed this movie. With that said, there are a lot of things about it that don't exactly sit right with me. Okay, so last week, or recently, I guess, we saw Jojo Rabbit.
We did.
We liked Jojo Rabbit.
Yes, and Jojo Rabbit, as I said when we came out of the theater, I think that was the first time I really liked Rebel Wilson in something.
Well, so when it ended, our friend said, I'm going to say something that I don't think I will ever say again, which is that movie didn't have enough Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, her character was pretty great.
And that is not the case here.
This movie, I think, had a decent amount of Rebel Wilson.
I think this movie had a little too much Rebel Wilson.
Of course, she ended up being the fat joke.
Mm-hmm, almost exclusively.
She was the chunk of this movie. The sort of identity politics in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, for a movie made in, 2012, it felt like it was 20 years earlier. Like, a 90s movie could have gotten away with that stuff easier.
Well, I mean, are you just talking about the Fat Amy stuff, or is there more?
The fat stuff, the lesbian stuff.
But with that said, the music is good.
The music is not bad. It's funny. I had a bit of a phase in the days of Napster and Kazaa and the MP3 explosion. I happened upon, as one did back then, a cappella covers of songs that these groups were putting up on those services on their own, and that started circulating.
Yes, and almost every a cappella piece that got put up on any of those file sharing sites got mistakenly attributed to rockapella.
Yes, they were not rockapella, but they were labeled rockapella a lot. Like, just like every parody song or comedy song was labeled Weird Al Yankovic, even though they, like, 99% were very obviously not him.
Right, but if someone had to name like a comedy song parodist in the early aughts, they would say Weird Al. And if somebody had to name an a cappella group in the early aughts, they would automatically say rockapella because we all watched Carmen Sandiego.
Right. But if they weren't labeled rockapella, a lot of them were labeled UPenn Off the Beat from University of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I figured that all out by myself.
I'm very impressed.
And they had a ton of stuff circulating online, probably still do. But I amassed this collection because I got into just searching for them and grabbing whatever songs showed up. And so I'm sure I've still got them on my hard drive, just a bunch of off the beat covers of whatever pop songs were going around.
Somewhere in this very apartment, I have the master tapes from my college a cappella group's year-end album that we did in spring 1999. The tape is here. And Manishma, if any of you are listening, I can digitize that tape for you real quick. So just let me know.
But like, I gathered this big collection of college a cappella group pop song covers, and then I found them. They started getting like, it's like the Malamar problem, where you have one and it's okay. You have another one, it's maybe okay too. You have a third one and they start to turn on you. And if you try and eat a fourth one, it's basically your entire body is crying out, why the fuck are you doing this? It's just like when I was building my early MP3 playlists, like, not so many a cappella pop song covers could happen in a row anymore after not too long.
No, for sure. And part of the reason I didn't necessarily get that metaphor was that I just never liked Malamars.
I hate them now. But as a kid, I used to like them.
I tried one once and meh, it was not that exciting.
It's like that plasticky artificial marshmallow.
A cappella covers. Oh, let's talk about it. So I really like rockapella as a band. I like their originals. But I also really, again, I sang a cappella in college, and there are songs that we sang in a cappella that I still love, and I had the solo in the second verse of Africa, Toto's Africa.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it took a really long time for me to get down the rhythm of sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti.
Well,
it took me a month to get there.
But, at the end of the day, you are white enough to sing Toto's Africa. There's a certain level of whiteness I think you need.
Yeah. No, that's
girl, you've got it.
That's so sweet of you. And we were also a Jewish college a cappella group, so we sang Hine Baha Shalom, and we sang Abani B because, like, that was a rule. If you're going to be a Jewish college a cappella group, you had to sing those songs. You have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's
None
fine.
At all.
That's just fine. Around this time, there was also an a cappella group competition on NBC. It's called the Sing Off. And there were various a cappella groups competing against each other. So that's where, like, Pentatonics, that's how they really came into the national consciousness, was on this show called the Sing Off.
What name do you suppose came in second?
I don't know. And, the Whiff and Poofs were on the Sing Off.
Wasn't that a Pokemon?
Probably, but also they're the Yale University a cappella group, one of the Yale University a cappella groups, the Whiff and Poofs. And Ben Folds actually put out a college a cappella album of like him doing his songs with various collegiate a cappella groups.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff. But yeah, I think this movie is a lot of fun if we can just ignore all the fat stuff. And okay, so are you ready? Should we start with the cast?
Let's start with the cast.
Okay, now on Wiki, you ready to break it down?
Let's break it down.
All right.
Break it down, would you please?
On the Wikipedia page, the cast is broken down by a cappella group.
This is the Wikipedia page for Pitch Perfect.
This is the Wikipedia page for Pitch Perfect. Yes. Film.
Yes.
2012. Okay, so we start with the Barden Bellas. Anna Kendrick as Becca Mitchell, an introverted and rebellious freshman who joins the Barden Bellas to appease her professor father.
And she was kind of Hollywood white girl alternative, where like she's just as sort of glam and gorgeous as everyone else in the film, sort of standard beauty standards.
Just wearing a whole lot of eyeliner.
Just wearing a lot of eyeliner and like a flannel.
And some scary earrings.
Yeah, so that means she's the weird one.
Yes. This was after she had been nominated for an Oscar for Up in the Air.
Up in the Air.
Up in the Air, which is a movie with George Clooney. And so that's Anna Kendrick. Rebel Wilson as Patricia Fat Amy Hobart, a comical and confident singer from Tasmania.
Yeah, Rebel Wilson is Rebel Wilson. We most recently saw her in Jojo Rabbit, and she was great. I've seen her in a couple other things, and she was in them too. And I think she was in some of the most terrifying clips from the horrifying Cats movie that's come out.
Yes. I think the thing for me about Fat Amy is I think we're all familiar with that whole idea of I'm going to point out the thing that people are probably going to make fun of me for and thus defang it.
Yeah.
We all do that. But then, like, you don't talk about it all the time.
Or like, actually make it your name and your form of address.
Make it your name, make it your form of address, and then just continue talking about it. Like, some of you are thin, but I think you all have fat hearts.
Yeah, and also, like, Rebel Wilson was the butt of the joke of, like, oh, I don't want to exercise and that stuff. But then, like, they were doing the LOL food jokes at her. Even when she wasn't eating the food, she was getting it thrown at her. So, you know, that was all rather standard and uninspiring.
Yeah. Anna Camp as Aubrey Posen, the uptight and traditionalist co-leader of the Bellas.
That's the blonde one.
That's the blonde one.
Yeah, she was kind of standard teen movie, the bitch. And the one thing that kept going through my head when she was on screen, especially in the beginning, is like, why are any of these people hanging around her?
Because she's got the pitch pipe.
So why, like, it seems like in the real world they would all just tell her to fuck off and maybe, like, start a new thing without her.
Probably. But, you know, I think there's also, for some reason at this fictional university, a cappella groups are a huge section of campus community.
So you're saying that wasn't the case when you were in a college a cappella group?
My college experience is radically different than the college experience as demonstrated in this movie, or as portrayed in this movie. Not least because I went to a really small university.
University of Lilliput?
I was in the a cappella group, and I was also on the Hillel board, the executive board of student government, the theater group, the improv group.
I think you were also head janitor, weren't you?
I mean, you know, I went to a very small college.
And the school nurse and the blackboard monitor.
Yeah, we couldn't really segment in the same way. Yeah, so the idea of the tradition behind the Barden Bellas led me to believe that they wouldn't necessarily just be like, you need to go now. And also she had the pitch pipe. Brittany Snow as Chloe Beale, the kinder and more civil co-leader of the Bellas.
The red-haired one.
The red-haired one. With nodes.
Who looks like sort of a dollar store Reese Witherspoon with red hair.
Sure. Alexis Knapp as Stacy Conrad, a highly sexually driven member of the Bellas.
I don't even really remember her.
There would be no reason for you to.
There was like 3 or 4 characters that were interesting, and then the other ones were there too.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. Esther Dean as Cynthia Rose Adams, a soul singer. Fun fact about Esther Dean.
Yes.
She's actually a musician.
Okay.
And a very highly thought of and sought after hook writer. And in the way that the songwriting business works these days, she is a huge part of it.
Obviously, they cast the ones in this movie who would be playing the singers on the competitive singing teams well, because they're all good singers. Like, I'm assuming, at least the ones that are using their real voices.
Yes.
And, she seems like kind of effortlessly doing so.
Mm-hmm. But if you wonder why you haven't seen her in other things, it's primarily she's a musician.
Okay.
Okay. Hana May Lee as Lily Onakuramara, a strange, quietly spoken student, but a talented beatboxer.
She was my favorite.
I know she was.
She was my absolute favorite thing about this entire movie.
And I mean, part of the joke, absolutely, no question, is that does get a little bit ruined when you watch it with captions on. Because you legitimately cannot hear half of what she's saying. But with the captions, you can read it. And it's all very strange.
Yeah, I was looking for them when she was talking. And then I was trying not to look at them whenever someone said Becca.
I know. Just the combination of it.
Because it says Bika on the words.
Becca.
I mean, was that supposed to be short for Rebecca? Or does anyone spell Rebecca with 1 C?
I've seen it. I have seen it. I don't like it, but I've seen it.
And we've just lost all of our audience who are Rebeccas with 1 C. Those of you with a K and an H can stay.
What about an H? What about 2 C's and an H?
2 C's and an H?
2 C's and an H.
Oh, I don't know if I want them listening.
Well. Kelly Alice Jekyll, I think, as Jessica, bubbly yet absent-minded. She was there too.
Okay.
Juanita Walmsley as Denise, the group's original bassist. And Shelley Regner as Ashley, a beatboxer.
Okay.
Right. So those are the Bellas. Those are the Bellas who survived the purge. Okay. Then we have the Treblemakers. And
the Treblemakers.
The Treblemakers. That is the thing about naming a cappella groups. There are countless music-based puns that wind up as the names of a cappella groups.
I kind of got that feeling.
Yeah. The a cappella group I was in, it was called Mani Shma, which is a Hebrew saying that means what's up, but it also comes from the verb for hearing. So it's like what you hear or what is heard. It's clever. Okay, so the Treblemakers are Skylar Aston as Jessie Swanson, an outgoing Barden freshman who hopes to one day become a film score composer. Or I suppose we could also say who hopes to one day compose film scores, or that would have just been too easy.
He hopes to score.
He hopes to score films. The pleasant one. He was the nice guy. Speaking of which, Adam Devine as Bumper Allen, the egotistical leader of the Treblemakers.
So that's Adam Devine.
That's Adam Devine.
I've heard that name. I've never known who it was.
Okay, so Adam Devine is one of the people who has really had his career get a lot bigger since this movie. And what I said to you was Adam Devine is from Omaha, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. But he went to Millard South, so fuck him and his whole family.
Whoosh.
I went to Millard North High School. Millard South High School are our crosstown rivals.
Oh my God, you had crosstown rivals.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Were there like a train tracks between you to be on the wrong side of?
No, there were not. But at the time, the mascot of Millard South, they were the Indians. They are no longer the Indians. I think they're the Patriots now.
Oof.
We were the Mustangs. There were a lot of trampling and horse riding jokes that were made when Millard North and Millard South played each other. Anyway, Adam Devine went to Millard South, so fuck him and his whole family and the horse he rode on. Ben Platt as Benji Applebaum, Jesse's roommate, friend, and an illusionist.
And of course, they show him to be into Star Wars, so therefore he's weird, and he's into stage magic, which, you know, I would have thought was cool.
He's into close-up magic.
Yes.
But he just also has very, very few social skills. And the interesting thing for me...
But they never show that. They just tell that.
Yeah. Well, the parts of this movie that aren't singing are just kind of like there, you know? So the thing is that Skylar Astin is a chunk older than Ben Platt. Ben Platt was like 18 when they made this movie. And Ben Platt, since this time, has been on Broadway. He was in the Book of Mormon for a while, and then he was Evan Hansen in Dear Evan Hansen, and he won a Tony for it. And you keep looking at me like you don't know who that is.
You're talking, and I'm getting clicking sounds.
Okay. Dear Evan Hansen is the musical that won the Tony for Best New Musical in 2017.
I believe you.
Yeah, 2017. And he won the Tony for it. And he's best friends with Beanie Feldstein. I love this kid.
Beanie Feldstein.
Beanie Feldstein. She was on Broadway in Hello, Dolly, and she was in that movie Booksmart last year that we haven't seen yet. And
I like that show she used to do with her pal Cecil.
Sailing, sailing, we've waited long enough for Cecil the Sea, Sixty Serpent, and Captain Huff and Puff. Oh, you didn't think that was going to happen, did you?
I had a pretty good idea.
So yes, young Ben Platt, who just, you know, needs a haircut.
I mean, and I don't have the ages of the cast in this movie in front of me, but I would have guessed they were all like Hollywood teenagers, which meant like mid-20s.
No, Ben Platt was legitimately 18 years old.
Okay.
I'm going to do my very best to say Utkarsh Ambudkar. As Donald, Bumper's right-hand man, a lead vocalist, beatboxer, and rapper. So he was in Freestyle Love Supreme.
I don't think I'm allowed to rent a video with that title.
Freestyle Love Supreme is an improv hip-hop group who started at the Pit.
Ah, my alma mater.
Yes, and recently did a run on Broadway. And Utkarsh Ambudkar was like friends with Lin-Manuel Miranda and was in some of the early readings of Hamilton, but had to leave the production. He had some substance abuse issues, and he left the production.
Ah, that's a shame.
Yes. But that's him. He's also got a podcast. I enjoy listening to him.
For those unfamiliar, the Pit is the People's Improv Theater here in Manhattan, and they're where I've studied and performed improv sometimes.
And where we've seen a show pretty recently.
Yes.
Michael Viruet as Unicycle. There's no further explanation. I think that may be a mistaken identification, you know.
Maybe
like,
he played a unicycle.
Or
it was
like
a
he
method
came over
thing.
from West Side Story, because that sounds more like a West Side Story character name. Unicycle. Riff. Sunny. And David Del Rio as Colio. Again, I got nothing.
He's the guy that's in Gangsta's Paradise.
Yes. Okay, others. John Michael Higgins as John Smith, a commentator for the ICCAs. I love John Michael Higgins. You recognize him from Best in Show. You recognize him from A Mighty Wind.
Oh. Okay.
You also recognize him from The Late Shift, which was the HBO TV movie about Leno and Letterman.
I'd always meant to see that. I never did.
Okay, well, he played Letterman.
Okay.
And Daniel Roebuck played Leno.
Uh-huh.
Yes, John.
I remember hearing about that like Letterman and Leno both hated it, so I kind of wanted to see it just based on that. And I know that Rich Little played Carson.
And yes, and Kathy Bates played Leno's agent.
That I didn't know, but Rich Little was famous for his Carson impression, so like the fact that he legit played Carson in something was of interest.
I mean, it was his Carson impression with the wig on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That was John Michael Higgins. And yeah, I mean...
Okay, yeah. Now I'm placing the face.
Mm-hmm. And also when you know that John Michael Higgins did all the arrangements for the new Main Street Singers in A Mighty Wind.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay, well, one of today's lucky 10,000. Elizabeth Banks as Gail Abernathy McCadden, a commentator for the ICCAs.
Elizabeth Banks, I know from stuff.
Elizabeth Banks, also, fun fact, directed the sequel.
There was a sequel.
Pitch Perfect 2.
What name do you think came in second?
It was not good. I saw it once. I didn't like it.
Pitch Perfecter. Too pitch, too perfect.
Pitch Perfect 2, The Pitchening. Pitch Perfect 2, Acoustic Boogaloo.
Oh, we don't use Boogaloo anymore.
I've heard, yes.
Assholes have taken that away.
I have heard, yes. But, yeah, and Elizabeth Banks is also one of the producers of the movie. Elizabeth Banks and her husband produced the movie.
Elizabeth Banks and her husband, other guy.
Max Handelman.
Yes, other guy.
Okay. John Benjamin Hickey as Dr. Mitchell, Becca's father, a professor at the college.
Yeah, he was the standard central casting, disconnected dad character from all of these movies who comes around at the end, like in all of these movies. There's nothing really more to be said about him.
There really isn't. He's a plot point. Freddie Stroma as Luke, the radio station manager who plays Becca's DJ mixes on the air and calls her Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And has a really impressive set of abdominal muscles.
Yeah, I don't know how realistic casting him as the college radio guy was.
Not terribly. Jin-hee Jung as Kimmy Jin, Becca's Korean-American roommate.
Yeah.
It's never Kimmy, it's always Kimmy Jin.
She was there to be a bad joke. White girl comes in and goes from 0 to no English in like 10 seconds.
Well, you know, she also wasn't speaking. Like, Kimmy Jin is not pleasant.
No, she's not pleasant, but like they went there really quickly.
They did. I mean, I think that was also probably just to communicate the negative experience so many people have with their roommates. But I don't like the way they handled it. In addition, Jolo Trulio, Harmore Superstar, Jason Jones, and Donald Faison appear as the Tone Hangers, an older, long-graduated a cappella group that gets into a fight with the Bellas and the Troublemakers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you pointed out that like long-haired bald dude was the band leader on the latest Mystery Science Theater, or the season 11 Mystery Science Theater interstitials.
And the Gauntlet.
And the Gauntlet.
You didn't do the hands.
And the Gauntlet.
There you go.
Season 11 and 12.
Season 11.
Mystery Science.
Of the Netflix seasons.
Yes, of Mystery Science Theater. The only two Netflix seasons. Because Mystery Science Theater exists to be wonderful and then canceled by an uncaring network.
Pretty much, yes. But
over and over.
Yes. And Christopher Mintz-Plasse plays Barden student Tommy, who organizes the school's auditions. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
That kid, did you ever see Superbad?
Nope.
Okay, well, he played McLovin in Superbad. I don't particularly care for him. Okay. Now then, shall we to the plot?
Let's do the plot.
During the 2011 ICCA finals at Lincoln Center, Barden University's all-female a cappella group, the Barden Bellas, lose to their all-male rival group, the Barden University Troublemakers, due to junior member Aubrey Posen's vomiting on stage in the middle of her solo.
It was an impressive effect.
It was an impressive effect.
They never explain it. Like, was it just nerves? Does she have a condition?
No, she has a nervous vomiting condition. And actually, if you look back at the beginning and you know what you're looking for, you can see her running off to the bathroom to vomit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why she was running to the thing at the beginning. I thought she was just like running late.
Nope.
Like Jem or Lammy.
She was going to vomit.
Okay.
And later in the movie, she's like, calm down, you're going to be okay. Like, every time she gets angry, they're like, oh my God, she's going to puke.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to contend that the reason that the Bellas lost to the Troublemakers was not because not exclusively because Aubrey puked on stage.
No. So her whole thing is that she and red-haired girl are in control of the group in that, like, they're the only two left after that.
Well, everybody else graduated.
And everybody else graduated.
Or quit.
And it's important to them to try and keep it going.
Mm-hmm. 4 months later, newly arrived Barden University freshman Becca Mitchell has no desire to attend college, but is forced to do so by her father, a professor at the university with whom Becca has a strained relationship. Wishing she could instead pursue a career as a music producer in Los Angeles, Becca spends her time making mashup mixes of songs and takes up an internship at the school radio station, where she gets to know fellow freshman Jesse Swanson.
Now, here's a thing that I found interesting about this movie. As someone who was involved in mashup culture in its modern sense when it started on the internet with like MP3s and everything,
mm-hmm.
and as someone who's made mashups,
mm-hmm.
spacemutiny.com.
Was that? Did I just hear a plug?
No, that was, I think I sneezed and burped at the same time, and it sounded like I was saying spacemutiny.com. Sometimes I hiccup and it sounds like DJ Lucianaga, but the thing that has always kind of weirdly fascinated me is when mainstream culture has tried to take mashups and take a break from like suing people over them and decide that they're going to play with them too. It's just kind of like a dry hump of of mashup culture. And also that was one of the things that was making her the weird one, is that she was making mashups. Mashups are creative. They're awesome.
For sure. At the university's activities fair, Becca is invited to join the Bellas by seniors and current co-leaders Aubrey and Chloe Beale, but she declines. Becca is urged to join something by her father, a literature professor. Later, Chloe discovers Becca's talent for singing and convinces her to audition.
That was a strange scene.
That was a strange scene. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really do justice to what that scene is.
She goes into the shower, like the communal shower area, and she's like singing to herself as she's setting up her shower stuff and starting to shower. And, you know, in that PG-13 sort of way, she's showering from the shoulders up. And then the red-haired girl comes in and just like pulls the curtain open and is standing there and like, I heard you singing and I'm not going to leave until you sing some more. And didn't they just, one of the things they did in the beginning was hand out rape whistles?
Mm-hmm. Don't use it unless it's actually happening.
Yeah, that would have been a time to use it.
And of course, Chloe was in the bathroom at that time because she was hooking up in the shower with some guy.
Chloe, that's what she's called.
Yeah, that's what she's called. So the guy she had been hooking up with is like, why isn't she back? And comes over and says to Becca, you have a beautiful voice. It was weird. It
was very weird. But it also took the opportunity to further paint Becca as like the weird outsider, because you could see she had tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Also, I am grateful a lot that the college I went to had private bathrooms in the dorms. Every dorm room had its own bathroom. It's kind of great. Okay. Becca reluctantly auditions by performing Cups When I'm Gone, which impresses Chloe, and joins the Bellas, despite Aubrey's blatant disapproval, with Cynthia Rose Adams, Stacey Conrad, Lily Onakuramura, Lily, and Patricia Fat Amy Hobart. Meanwhile, Jesse joins the Troublemakers. Okay, the thing is, they're skipping.
Yeah, and that's also spoiling the Patricia joke for later.
Hardcore.
But,
so just say Fat Amy.
But like, also, in the sort of Goonies sense, I don't think any of these last names happened in the movie.
Mm-mm. They did not. The thing about the auditions scene is that I thought it was a lot of fun. Is that everyone had auditioned with the same song. You know, so McLovin gets up there and he says, everybody's going to sing 16 bars of Kelly Clarkson Since You've Been Gone. And that is not what happens. And everyone is singing. Everybody basically sings the whole song and they cut it all together and it's great. And Skylar Aston keeps stopping and saying, this is really high. Who picked this key? This is really high. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Huge mashup of everybody singing together.
Yeah. But also like they're very obviously not each auditioning, because they're each doing like a part that fits perfectly into a multi-track with, the split screens and everything. Such as you would find on YouTube or whatever.
Yes.
Are we to infer that this one woman just went up there and did the beatboxing, and that was her audition for Since You've Been Gone, 16 bars?
I mean, we could, actually. Given how regimented the auditions seem to be, anything is possible. So everybody gets inducted into their a cappella groups, and there's a big a mixer called Hood Night.
And there's like the sorority fraternity style like initiation rites and everything,
And all the Bellas have to swear that they won't hook up with any of the troublemakers.
which is also like a further concept that I've never been able to take at all seriously, even when I've known people who cared very much about that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the ritualization of a lot of things is very fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. You know, it's like we're going to put hoods on you and then reveal where you are, and you have to take an oath and hold a scarf, and it's a thing. Like the Bella scarves were a huge piece of their myth, I guess.
They're what?
Myth.
Yes? Had to do it.
I know you did. The Bellas participate in the 2012 ICCA Regionals, where, at Aubrey's insistence, they perform the same medley that helped the Bellas advance to finals the previous year. In spite of their stale set list, the group manages to place second, sending them to the semifinals. And who did they beat? The a-capellas.
See, not the a-capellas were robbed. That's my take on this movie as a former puppeteer.
I just enjoyed when John Michael Higgins was like, the a-capellas, proving that it doesn't get better for everyone after high school.
That's another thing this movie kept doing, is like the things that it was painting as the weirdo things to do are things I enjoy.
Singing a cappella with sock puppets?
I would sing a cappella with sock puppets, and I would enjoy it more than if I weren't doing it with sock puppets.
I think one of the things I also really enjoyed was the juxtaposition of what the a-capellas were singing.
I don't remember what they were singing.
They were singing Fuck You by Lily Allen.
Oh, yeah. And I remember because I thought, like, this is better coming out of sock puppets than it was coming out of Lily Allen, who I don't really like.
Well, you know the other thing about that song, you know what it's about?
Nope.
Fun fact of the day.
What's Fuck You about?
Lily Allen's Fuck You as opposed to CeeLo Green's Fuck You. Which also in the movie they sang is F U because it's PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Lily Allen's Fuck You is about George W. Bush.
Huh.
You say you want to go to war. Well, we're already in one. There's lines about, like, you just want to impress your father. It's... Go back and listen to the lyrics, or just look up the lyrics. It's fun.
Okay. I can't say Lily Allen was the source of my George W. Bush protest songs. You know, I got my fix of those elsewhere in that era, but
It came out late, but...
All right.
Yeah, it's about George W. Bush. After the competition, the Bellas try to break up a fight between the Troublemakers and the Tone Hangers, a male alumni a cappella group. Becca and Fat Amy accidentally smash a window with the Troublemakers trophy, which alerts a police officer, who then arrests Becca.
Which is weird. She's there left holding like a chunk of the trophy after Amy runs away, having busted the window with the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Becca's just frozen there holding this chunk, and so the cop turns around and walks up, and next thing you know, she's coming out of jail because she's the one that's been arrested, not anyone else who was fighting or any of that other stuff. They didn't look at a security camera or anything and see what happened. It's just
Becca.
like, you're the protagonist, so I'm arresting you.
Also, earlier, everybody had been working out, and Amy was not. And Aubrey found her and said, "What are you doing?" She was lying on her side in the bleachers and sort of like cycling her legs. And she said, "I'm horizontal running." Mm-hmm. I'm horizontal running.
Oh, so after she smashes the thing, she
goes running away, and she goes like, "I'm vertical running. Look at me, I'm vertical running."
Mm-hmm.
Outside the police station, Becca meets Jesse, but discovers that he has gotten her father involved in the situation, causing a rift between her and her father, and causing Becca to berate Jesse.
That sucked.
It did.
Like, it's that thing where you've got the characters who have the meet cute, and they're very obviously like the love interest of the lead of this film, and they have to have that moment where they're like, "No, I've suddenly decided you suck now for some reason.
You're not my boyfriend. I don't need your help. You're not my boyfriend."
And then the reason he sucks now is because like he called her dad, which is the sensible thing to do, I think, if you see someone get arrested and you know where their next of kin are.
Mm-hmm. I would tend to agree. Becca tries to propose that the Bellas be more daring. She gets back to her room, and the Bellas are all waiting for her there. Kimmy Jin is not pleased. Becca tries to propose that the Bellas be more daring, but Aubrey insists that they will win with their traditional repertoire. At the ICCA semifinals, Becca inserts an impromptu layering of bulletproof while the others perform the sign, hoping to reinvigorate the crowd after they seem to have lost interest. After the performance, Aubrey confronts Becca about her improvisation and also accuses her of hooking up with troublemaker Jessie, a rule breach punishable by ejection from the Bellas.
Yeah, that's another thing, too, is like there was some other girl with glasses who got accepted at the auditions, and then it turned out that she had shagged one of the troublemakers, and so they're just like, turn in your scarf, you're done, and you're fired, and she's never heard from again.
Yeah, they lost 2 Bellas over that rule.
They only showed the one, though, I think.
Right, because one didn't even make it to the first rehearsal.
Oh, okay.
She got bounced to hood night.
But like, it is a dick move to like change a thing that you're doing on stage that you've rehearsed differently, no matter how you feel about it. No matter how much you don't like something, you work it out either before or after you're doing the thing live on stage.
Right.
Because you're fucking everyone else up.
Exactly. So, like, Aubrey won't listen to Becca when she's saying that, and that was really the first time that a lot of the other girls had gotten the opportunity to hear what it could possibly sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jessie attempts to clarify for Becca, but frustrated at Aubrey's obliviousness and Jessie's convenience, Becca snaps at them both and quits the Bellas. Despite the judges and crowd being impressed by Becca's improvisation, the Bellas do not advance to the finals due to their third-place ranking behind the troublemakers and the Footnotes. However, Jessie's roommate, Benji Applebaum, finds out that Footnotes leader Timothy is a high school student and reports it, causing the Footnotes disqualification and simultaneously advancing the Bellas to finals by default. Okay, hold on.
I didn't notice that it was the roommate that found that out.
It was, and I noticed that during the movie, and I was like, wait a second. If they had to drive however many hours to get there, how is he working tech for this event?
Mm-hmm.
They also, is not mentioned in here, the burrito incident.
Right. The bro fraternity group are passing the other ones in their rented bus as Rebel Wilson is gassing it up, and they throw a messy burrito at Rebel Wilson, splattering it all over her. Although, of course, you don't see it on her outfit that she's, for some reason, wearing her stage outfit while she's driving this bus.
They all were. And for a moment, she's like, I've been shot. No, wait, no.
Yeah, I don't get that. That didn't land for me. And then they did there were rumblings about what's her name being gay. Like, they all figure she's gay. Rebel
Cynthia
Wilson
Rose.
Cynthia Rose. And so when she falls and she thinks she's been shot, and Cynthia Rose starts giving her mouth to mouth, and she's like, no, and haha, gayness is weird and scary.
There's a significant homophobic strain in this movie. Okay.
I'm waiting for the generation where they start making teen movies that don't rely, at least in some part, on like homophobic jokes or queerphobic, racist, whatever. Because there were touches of that in touches of both of those in this, and it was made 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would seem like that would be a bit late for that sort of thing.
I would think, yes. Okay. After spring break, Becca tries to apologize to Jessie for being rude, but he declines, saying that she pushes away everyone that cares about her. During the Bella's rehearsal, Chloe stands up against Aubrey's stubbornness, sparking a fight over the group's pitch pipe. After Aubrey vomits again.
Right. And I don't know what it is that she's supposed to have eaten. Apparently she's had like 7 orange Juliuses before every rehearsal and performance.
Butternut squash soup.
Yeah. It's just this bright orange paint-like stuff that she vomits like gallons and gallons of, which is funny, and it's a funny effect. And then they start fighting, and then like Lily ends up thrown into the puddle of vomit on her back, and she just like starts looking around and making a snow angel in it.
Yes.
That might be my favorite part of the entire movie. Where's Lily's spinoff? That's what I want to know.
However, Becca returns, apologizes to the Bellas for changing the set without Aubrey's permission during the semifinals, and asks to be given a second chance. After all of the Bellas have a heart-to-heart conversation, Becca rejoins the group, and Aubrey relinquishes her half of the leadership to Becca. Mm-hmm. So this is when Becca's like, no, this is good. Everybody say something that not everybody knows about them. And it's interesting because the ones who we never hear speak don't speak in this. And
yeah, it's like they sit in a circle, and then it's like, main characters only.
Stacy's like,
let's learn about each other.
I have a lot of sex. And everyone says, we knew that. She's like, yeah, because I just told you that. No, because the only things you've talked about in this movie are how much sex you have. Cynthia says, this is really hard for me to tell you guys. I've had a really serious and Amy's like, here it comes. Let's be honest. And Cynthia says, gambling problem. And if it, what? And she says, yeah, I started a couple years ago after I broke up with my girlfriend.
And then everyone's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And then one of the other like nameless red shirt ensign members of this group just looks at her and goes, I still love you.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, everyone's confessing things. Becca's like, I'm not a girl who has friends who are girls, but now I do. It's one of those. And then
that's not a confession. That's like your obvious character arc.
And then the pitch pipe lands in the vomit.
The blonde girl tries to throw her the pitch pipe, like saying you're the leader now, but she misses and it lands in the puke.
So they all leave and go practice singing in the pool, which is where they had been earlier for the riff off, which we didn't talk about.
Yeah, this thing skipped over the riff off.
This thing skipped the riff off.
Damn it, Wikipedians, get your shit together.
Seriously. I mean, the riff off is probably one of the most iconic set pieces in the movie. Best known set pieces in the movie. I don't know if I'd say iconic. But...
Well, I didn't know about it, so...
But people who know the movie know the riff off. Is that fair to say?
I guess. It was like their 8 Mile thing.
Mm-hmm. Basically. And it was cute. And everyone, you know, they come up with a prompt and then you have to come up with songs and match a word and keep going, and it's a lot of fun. And Becca basically puts the whole thing on his head when she comes in and does No Diggity. Yeah. That's all I got. It's fun.
Yeah, and they show up and everyone's just doing standards, and then she comes in like, hi, I'm the slip of a white girl protagonist, so I'm going to do a rap song at you people, and that's going to be the what moment. Yeah.
But I do like that because all of a sudden everyone is singing along. Like people who are just there watching the riff off, people from the a cappella groups that have been eliminated from the competition are singing along. It's a nice communal moment.
Sort of. It felt to me like that standard contrived movie magic thing where like one person starts doing some random song and then all of a sudden everyone else just fits completely into their parts of it and choreographs the whole thing, and it didn't land for me.
I did kind of assume that you were going to have that issue just overall with us.
Yeah, but it hurt in that scene.
Meanwhile, Troublemakers leader Bumper Allen leaves the group after being offered a job as a backup singer for John Mayer. Bumper's an asshole.
He was the central casting, like, teen movie asshole bro jock dude, except he was the leader of an a cappella group.
And was weirdly trying to hit on Amy the whole time.
And like, the roommate kid in the beginning of the movie approaches him because he's such a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Do college a cappella group people have such a fans?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if I can...
I mean, Benji seemed to know a lot about Barden in general. So he may have, you know, had a sibling who went to school there and had been around. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I know the name of one of the colleges in the city, 2 of them, because I used to do some work in each one. But, like, I didn't go there. I didn't even go there. I just had a lot of feelings and a couple of booked gigs.
With Bumper gone, Jesse persuades the Troubles to let Benji join the group in Bumper's place, a position Benji failed to earn during earlier auditions, because they thought he was weird. At the finals, the Bellas perform a modern piece arranged by Becca, which includes Don't You Forget About Me, a song featured in The Breakfast Club, one of Jesse's favorite movies.
Right. They skipped over that whole thing where he's like, I brought over some movies because you're going to love these movies, and then he just shows her the end of Breakfast Club,
well,
like it's supposed to be a thing.
So the thing that she had said, so he met her on the quad, and he's like, I have movies, they're the best scored and soundtracked movies ever. She's like, I don't really like movies. I just get bored and I never get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
The end is boring.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I just want to show you the end of The Breakfast Club.
But the end of The Breakfast Club doesn't make any damn sense if you haven't watched The Breakfast Club.
Exactly, which is why she was like, okay, this is a thing. And then during the spring break section, when she watched all of The Breakfast Club and started crying and was like, oh yeah, this is really a good movie. I should wait for the endings.
And she was, I guess, realizing, I'm the Judd Nelson...
Or something.
Or something. I don't know, but also appropriate because it was another bunch of, like, Hollywood 25-year-olds playing teenagers.
This Tallulah Bank kid with her fist in the air. This acts as a more effective apology, and after the performance, she and Jesse kiss. The Bellas defeat the Troublemakers and win the national championship.
I liked that arrangement at the end. Like, they mashed it up well, and it was cute. And of course it was, because it was the big, finale winning number thing.
Absolutely.
And also they come out and, like, in all their other performances, they were wearing, like, these horrible flight attendant looking uniforms. This time they were just wearing clothes. And like, one of them was doing ballet moves, and people were just flipping around and doing whatever.
It was really, it was conceived in a way that really let each of them shine in their own way.
Yes, they were allowed to have personalities.
And, the ones who could sing really well could sing really well, and the ones who could rap were rapping, and the ones who could dance were dancing.
And Lily, the quiet Asian girl, ends up being a really enthusiastic beatboxer, which she learned from the fellow whose name I'm not going to pronounce because I don't have it written down in front of me.
The character's name is Donald.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it written in front of me. I can't pronounce it.
You can do this, but no, it was also like they under Aubrey's leadership, they'd been trying to really conform to one single image, in this sense that everybody can contribute something if you just let them shine.
The ending number was really cute.
I really liked it.
And I would probably actually listen to an MP3 of that if I had it handy, though I don't think I'm going to buy the soundtrack.
Fair enough. So the movie ends with the new auditions the following year, and that's it. Movie's over.
Oh yeah, that's how they point out that they won, because they don't show them getting the trophy or anything. Just like you get the intertitle 6 months later, and then it's like the winners of the last competition get to pick the song for today's audition, and so then you see Becca and everyone go, "Okay, losers, the song is."
And you see the wide cut, the trophy sitting on the table where the Bellas are.
Yeah, and then the end credits go.
So, Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. Tell me your story about this movie. Like, where did you come upon this?
I saw it because a couple of my friends were like, "How have you not seen this movie?" And I said, "I don't know." And then one day I was home and it was on cable and I watched it and I liked it.
Cool story.
Thank you. So you said, how is this movie based on a book?
Yes. We watched the end credits and it said based on the book something or other by someone.
It's called Pitch Perfect, a year inside collegiate a cappella by a guy named Mickey Rapkin.
And I asked you, how could any of this have been done in prose?
And I said, this movie is based on a book in the same way that Mean Girls was based on a book. And you said, Mean Girls was based on a book?
That's a direct quote.
And I said, yes, Mean Girls is based on a book called Queen Bees and Wannabes, which is an exploration of the group dynamics of teen girls. Teen and preteen girls.
So was this a nonfiction book?
Yeah.
That Mean Girls was based on?
Yes.
And so this was a nonfiction book that this movie was based on?
Yeah, this guy followed some a cappella groups through a year of competition.
Uh-huh.
And that's what the book is, and it was adapted into this. So it wasn't like a novel where all these characters already existed.
Okay.
But, it was like, let's look at this.
And movieify it.
Right. I mean, the guy who wrote Pitch Perfect also wrote a book about Stage Door Manor, which is the same camp that Camp is based on.
Uh-huh.
But that book came out later.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a book about the concept. And then Kate Cannon came in and wrote the characters and wrote the story, and the rest is history.
I see.
Yes.
So this was a movie that you got in the same chunk as what else?
Mean Girls and Defending Your Life.
Uh-huh.
Because they were three movies that I wanted you to see, that I didn't own, and that were not available streaming.
Right. And you've already shown me Mean Girls and Defending Your Life.
Correct.
Which I liked, and I liked.
And I could have sworn I had shown you Pitch Perfect, and apparently I was mistaken.
You were.
But
except
now,
not anymore.
Not anymore. Now you've seen it.
Now I've seen it. Yeah, I wouldn't call myself a fan of this movie.
That's fair.
There were things I enjoyed about it. I'm interested in whether the one who played Lily has done other stuff.
Apparently she's also a fashion designer. I looked her up real quick on the Wikipedia. And yeah, singer, model.
And there's a sequel to this, which is not good.
No, honey, there are two sequels to this. And I can say emphatically that one of them is not good because I've seen it, and the third one I have not.
There were 2 sequels to this.
Uh-huh.
Well, if it's the Lily story...
It's not the Lily story.
Well, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But yeah, I liked that character. Yeah, so that was Pitch Perfect.
That was Pitch Perfect.
I don't know if there's commentary or anything on this DVD, but I might run it again with it sometime.
There definitely is. Oh, there's a box. There's commentary. There's all kinds of stuff. Special features. Special features abound.
I did say during this movie to you that I'm beginning to form questions about your devotion to school movies.
A lot of them are movies that I saw when I was that age, you know? I said, what school movies are you talking about? 10 Things I Hate About You I saw when I was in college. Mm-hmm. And also I just liked it.
Right. But you've shown me multiple school movies and school-adjacent movies. I would still count camp among that.
I know you would.
They are a school.
You're still wrong, but I would. I don't know. In 7th grade, we learned be true to your school, and maybe that just stuck with me. I don't know. Like,
I always had a very, very firm natural resistance to school movies because school was not a good experience for me, mm-hmm. and I didn't want to watch movies about it. I liked The Breakfast Club well enough. I don't think it holds up. But the school movies that I really deeply enjoyed were the ones like Class of Nukem High and things like that, where schools were full of over-the-top violence and like usually got blown up at the end.
But thank you for sharing this one with me.
Thank you for sharing it with me.
Where's your Firefly, Mr. Firefly?
My Firefly is in its room looking at very generic-looking DJ software where apparently you just like push the space bar and it does a perfect mashup for you on your MacBook instead of you actually having to like work at beat matching or anything.
Yes, apparently it syncs down beats for you, which like isn't part of the fun of making a mashup, doing that for yourself.
Well, I enjoy doing the math and speeding things or slowing things down. But then I haven't really done mashups for a while. Like I did one mashup album. It was in 2005. So maybe I could like do a 15th anniversary remaster or something this year. But
I like that idea. And quick shout out to DJ Cummerbund.
DJ Cummerbund is a mashup artist on YouTube that we both enjoy
quite a bit.
Love his mashups. Love Neil Cicierega's mashups.
Very much. He's
mouth
wonderful.
Moods, mouth sounds, and mouth silence. I'm a longtime fan of the Kleptones, which are another act that have done really good things with mashups. But yeah, in general, I've always been a really big fan of mashups as a genre, as a concept, as a thing to do where you take bits of pre-existing pop culture and twist them around and make them happen in like new and different and interesting and unexpected and often very funny ways. I like the comedy mashups.
I like straightforward mashups. Mm-hmm. Things that have played too much with pitch squick me real bad. You've seen it.
I've watched your skin crawl when there's like some heavy pitch bending going on.
Yeah, there are times when I just like writhe. I can't handle it. I'm in physical pain.
The album I did had a concept behind it. It was called Intergalactic Pop Music Rescue Squad by DJ Luciérnaga, which, for those of you who do not speak the Spanish, it means Firefly. What this was I had gotten a bunch of Beastie Boys a-cappellas. I think they had them available on their own website, like officially, like, hey guys, play with these. This is, going way back in time. And I decided to specifically mash up Beastie Boys lyrics with music that I didn't like to see if I could rescue it. And I listen back to that now, and there's a lot I would do differently. It's a very seminal work, that is to say, not very good. But there are bits and pieces that I think still actually maybe bang a little bit.
I liked it.
And it got one or two good reviews in the mashup blogs and scene at the time. So yeah, It was fun.
Maybe we'll link to it.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, if you could contact the modern.technology webmaster and see if that would be a possibility.
That guy's an asshole.
I bet he'd listen to you if you asked him nicely.
No, he's actually my worst enemy.
I bet he'd listen to you if you asked nicely. He's also your biggest fan.
Well, that's true.
Well, my Firefly's up. As well it should be. I picked the movie.
You did.
And most times that's how it should happen. It didn't happen that way once, and it was really tough.
Which one didn't it?
The Tao of Steve, when I was just like, what was this?
But you thought you liked it in the beginning when you picked it.
Yes, I did. I was very excited.
We have not had the experience of choosing a movie specifically that we didn't like to see if the other one would think the same or differently about it.
Correct. I mean, I think if you listen back to the Tao of Steve episode, you can actually hear my hopes die during the music break.
But also, I don't know how many of it, like how many movies either of us have in our combined collection that we went and got hard copies of that we don't like.
Right. I mean, I don't think we have movies for spite.
Although I actually can point out one or two, but I won't. Maybe we'll have those in future episodes. But talking about future episodes, a little tease for what we're going to be doing next. Our next episode, we're going to be doing something special, and I don't know if it counts as my pick.
I don't think it does.
No.
I think it's a...
No, okay. So our next episode that we do after this is going to be a bit of a special event episode that we're going to continue with for a few times and intersperse with our normal episodes. And we're going to have a couple of really cool guests,
yes.
People I'm really excited about getting involved in this.
Yes.
And that's about all I'll say about it at this point.
But we're very much looking forward to unleashing this particular special upon the world.
Yes. For Modern Technology Watches, this is Rob Vincent.
And Gila Drazen.
And saying send us email at watches@modern.technology or tweet at us at mtpodcastnet.
We're fun. We're funny.
We're Babs and Buster Bunny. And we would really love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Interact with us. Check out our back catalog at your podcatcher of choice where you found us, or at modern.technology on the web.
Yes. Send us email. Get in touch. Send us tweets. Let us know that we're not just speaking into the void.
Although if we are speaking into the void, that's fine too.
Yeah. If you're the void, send us an email and let us know, because we're interested in what the void thinks of us.
Absolutely.
So, for Modern Technology.
Still Gila Drazen.
I'm still Rob Vincent.
And we will still see you at the movies.
We will catch you in the future.
Yes.
You've been listening to episode 113, the first season finale of Modern Technology Watches, with Gila Drazen and Rob Vincent.
Go to modern.technology on the web for more info on this show, our other work, and our social media chorus.
Our music is The Promise by Torley Wong, released Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0.
Find more from Torley at torley.com. Thank you, Torley.
Content from wikipedia.org is used under Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0.
This podcast is released under Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0, produced by modern.technology.
Send us email at watches@modern.technology.
And if you liked us, tell a friend.
Then we have the Troublemakers. There are fewer of them. Pick it up before I do that.
No, just talk into the mic. These are directional.
But I can't make love to a bush.
That stuff ends up in the gag reel.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So the Troublemakers.